of things. So when the committee is inaugurated, definitely we'll look at a whole lot of things. For instance, it cannot justify that you use over 5 trillion to subsidize fuel that people never even bought at the subsidy price. Because the subsidy regime have ended, does not mean that those public resources will not be accounted for us to be sure that the ship that you said came to Lagos and offloaded those products actually came to Lagos. And then you have to show evidence to show that you even paid for the product for which you were paid. And then the people that were doing the bridging gap for the transportation and so on and so forth. Because if you find out that a particular ship that they say came to Nigeria to offload, at the time they said it was offloading, maybe it's a decommissioned ship in the belly of the Atlantic in the Indonesian waters. And then it means that not only some people sat down and criminally defrauded the country, that somebody also collected a bridging gap for the trucking. Because what were you trucking from Lagos to Kaduna and Kano if the ship never came? And that means that they go to the extent of payment papers will be forged, custom papers may be forged, refinery papers may be forged. So we may have to look deep.
There is a value chain in there.
Yes. And it shows high level of, it's not even a criminal offense, it's high treason. It's the highest level of criminality that people that are involved, not only recovery, but are supposed to be in jail. So we're not going to say, oh, because the president have removed the subsidy regime, so therefore anything that happened before that time, then let's go to bed. No, because we're talking about revenues that is over trillions, over 5-10 trillions paid. And then at the end of the day, people that are supposed to enjoy those products and services never enjoyed it. They were still buying at the regular market prices. And at the end of the day, we are owing. And then even the FS that was given to somebody, because if somebody collected FS and did not import the product, it means that he went and offloaded it back to the black market and became a billionaire overnight. When we look at that, it's going to be a challenging moment. It's going to be tough. But definitely, somebody for once will do it. And we intend to do that so that it will also help to recover revenue, help to also serve as deterrent to other people who want to abuse government opportunities, and then at the end of the day, the poor masses will be suffering. Yes, it's a technical industry. It's an industry that is not 100% transparent, but we'll do as much as possible using the instrument of the parliament because we represent the people of Nigeria to ask those hard questions. Because that is so painful that the reason we have to run away from it is because the process was abused. That's why we have to remove subsidy. Because the cartel was so deep that no matter the reform you try to introduce, you still end up with the same problem. It's a good thing the president have shown the boldness and have removed it, but now you can see the impact. But what the people want to see is, was this money actually committed? These monies were they actually committed to those things? Yeah. And I can tell you to some extent, they were not. And if you see somebody, for instance, putting up a paper for a payment, and these are something that have documented evidence. Your ship is supposed to come from somewhere. You
should dock, there should be evidence, there should be paperwork that it has
In that
docked.
case, you paid for the product.
Yeah.
There should be the transfer documents. It means that you hired the ship that moved the vessel.
If you don't own it.
If you don't own it. Then you can also from the Lloyd Bank, you can see the locations of these ships. So these things are very, very easy and transparent. Yes, but people don't want to deal with it maybe because of vested interest. I don't have any vested interest. I'm not into oil and gas. But the most important thing here is that we need to find out from the moment you say you paid, from that bank where you paid, to the moment the vessel was loaded, to the moment the vessel set sail on the high sea down to Nigeria, to the moment you offloaded, and then the moment the trucking started going on and the bridging. So if, for instance, you never imported, in that case, you forged documents showing that MT vessel 1 was here. That is the highest level of forging. In that case, you as well forge the payment paper, forge the custom paper, and forge also the trucking papers. So you can see it's a chain that if you do thorough investigation, we may be able to recover over 2-3 trillion that can help the government in fast-tracking their programs. Well,
you may be running away from saying probes, but it seems we're going to have interesting times ahead, in the 10th Assembly, and of course, the probes would actually happen.
But again, it's all about asking the right questions.
Yeah.
And again, we have
which is still a probe.
Turnaround of the refineries yearly for over 10-15 years. Now we need to know at what capacity are they producing vis-a-vis the expenditures that have been made on them. Now we need to also see what the company that is rehabilitating and refurbishing is doing. We also have to look at the capacity to be effective in terms of, like Kaduna Refinery, we hear that are built for heavy crude or something like that, and then most of they need to import some of them from Venezuela or something. So whether the kind of crude we produce here is something that the refinery can be able to be refining in large quantity. If not, what do we do so that we don't keep committing money to things that will not work? So we have to take a look at that. Not only that, we also take a look at petroleum associated product, because it's not just the fuel, there's other products,
byproducts,
petrochemicals that come out from that. So you have the heavy naphtha, you have the different spirits and so on and so forth. So some of them, are they being sold as scrap? Are we making revenue from discharging some of those things? And if we are, what's the evidence of the payment of the revenues we're getting from them? These questions the committee intends to ask, because so in different places, some of them can be used for generating electricity. Chinese have heavy market for some of those products. Also, we have to ask questions. Is government paying for the disposal? If government is paying for the disposal of a product that have a high market value, then who is selling it? So all this is because we want to help government to raise revenue. One of the biggest challenges the government is facing today is how to raise revenue. And most of these things is because of high cost of running government or systematic corruption that keeps getting us to be wasting a lot of revenue. So government is trying to do everything possible to raise revenue, to be able to meet up with competing demands. And the committee intends to help government to not only block the leakages, but also to increase capacity to generate revenue. It's going to be a very